As we speak, a major anti-terror operation is underway. David Cameron is flying home, cutting short his journey to Paris, and the government's emergency Cobra committee is already in session in Whitehall. The emergency response to the brutal murder which happened in broad daylight this afternoon in a southeast London street. A man thought to be a serving soldier was hacked to death by two suspected jihadists. Government sources said they shouted Allah Akbar and filmed the horrific attack. Let's go live now to our social affairs editor, Jackie Long, in Woolwich. Jackie.
Police tonight are trying to piece together the details of what was an extraordinarily savage and extreme attack carried out in the middle of the day in this busy part of southeast London. Now, early details from eyewitnesses were almost unbelievable. They described how a man was attacked with a machete by two others who hacked him to death and then tried to decapitate him. Now, armed police arrived. The two attackers were injured and were taken to hospital. One is said to be seriously injured this evening. When we arrived here, I think initially all the talk was that this was probably some sort of gang attack. But a couple of residents started introducing this notion of a terrorist element. One, who didn't want to go on camera, described how the two men had circled the body of their victim several times, using, in his words, moralistic and ritualistic language, confirming for him that this was indeed a terrorist attack. Now, some of the details in the report you're about to see may be distressing to some people. Simon Israel reports.
Mid-afternoon, on a road in southeast London, running between a council tower block and, lying behind the trees, Woolwich barracks. Witnesses report the most horrific of attacks. Two men, armed with knives and what appeared to be a meat cleaver, savaging a young man who was wearing a Help for Heroes t-shirt and then dragging his body into the middle of the road.
They were hacking at the poor guy. We thought they were trying to remove organs or something. They were just hacking at him, chopping him, cutting him. And we jumped out. My partner jumped out the car and shouted. I jumped out as well. One of the black guys went to the crashed car, got in the front, pulled out a bag. He pointed a gun at us. We shouted to my partner, get in the car, get in the car. He was waving this gun around. I then moved the car up the road. I then got on the phone to the police, 999.
It's not yet known if the victim was a serving soldier, but this has now been categorised as a terrorist attack. A tent now covers the spot where he died. Parked in the middle of the road is an armed response vehicle. The firearms officers were on the scene, according to witnesses, within 20 minutes. The attackers, they say, were simply waiting for their arrival.
They're standing there, all with a knife in the hand, waving the gun about. I'm on the phone to the police saying, you need to get them here. Where are they? They took 20 minutes to arrive at the police, the armed response.
In that time, one of the two attackers, with blood on his hands, spoke to another eyewitness who filmed his statement. He is recorded as saying they killed the man they thought was a British soldier because David Cameron had sent British troops to Arab countries.
I apologise that women had to witness this today, but in our land, our women have to see the same. You people will never be safe. Remove your governments, they don't care about you.
At least one firearms officer confronted the two on this street and fired a number of shots. Both men are now in hospital.
Two men, who we believe from earlier reports to have been carrying weapons, were shot by police. They have both been taken to separate London hospitals and are receiving treatment for their injuries. I can understand that this incident will cause community concern, and I would like to reiterate that we are investigating the circumstances of this incident.
This is now the scene, according to Downing Street, of a jihadi attack. Some of the plastic patches cover the knives and the cleaver. The government's emergency committee, Cobra, chaired by the Home Secretary, will shortly be in session. This has echoes of a plot 5 years ago, when a group of extremists from Birmingham were convicted of planning to behead a British Muslim soldier.